Hello friends, welcome back. Well, it's official. The first winter storm is officially upon us. It has started and we are spending the week prepping for a huge winter storm that's going to be hitting us at the end of this week. Actually, by the time that I get this voiced over and you see this is when we will be hit with the second storm system. During this video, this is actually during the first storm system, and it ended up not being that bad. We just had a lot of rain and a lot of freezing rain. So as I said, the first storm system that you're actually watching in this video, it was pretty minor, and we knew that it was going to be a lot of rain with chances of it freezing in some areas, which it did. We did have ice on the roads and there was freezing rain in a lot of the areas, but the temperatures rose pretty quickly and it didn't last too long, only about a day. So that was very minor, but we knew that the system at the end of the week was going to be major. If you are new to my channel, this will be news to you, but I do talk about this quite a bit on my channel, how we are from the Chicago area and we moved down to the Ozark Mountain region, I want to say like 4 years ago. So we are living in a tiny town in the Ozark Mountains, and really anything on the roads can make them really, really scary. There are a lot of hills and twists and turns, very steep roads, and it can be scary without anything on the road, especially if you're not used to driving in this area. But when there is anything like freezing rain or the tiniest amount of snow, it can be very dangerous for this area. So our town actually shuts down if there is any accumulation of snow. There are no snow plows. They do not attempt to even do it. And so there is really no ins, no outs. Once it starts, you are stuck in your house for a couple of days. And we knew at the end of this week, so by the time you're actually seeing this video, we will be going through our second storm system, and it is going to be significant. I woke up this morning that I'm doing the voiceover and it has already started to snow. The town we know is already shut down. No businesses are open, no schools. There's no traffic. I mean, you can't even drive on the road. So it has already started here, and we're not sure how long we will be shut in our house. It kind of just is up to Mother Nature at this point. So it depends, it will be a couple of days at least. We have had a significant snowfall already, but yeah, there's no navigating our town especially, and generally the towns around us, but they're all pretty small. The larger ones, I think they pretty much just, go about their day like normal or relatively normal, but for our tiny town, that is not the case. My husband Kyle was building a fire a different way. He said it was something he saw on YouTube and he was pretty excited to try it out. I guess it didn't really work. I don't know. I kind of stayed out of it. Him and Theo did their own thing, and they did end up actually making a fire. So it basically did turn out, just not exactly what he was expecting. I was just in the background watching and also making breakfast. I swear one of my most favorite things to do on like a stormy day like this is start a fire and then make breakfast. It reminds me so much of Cracker Barrel, where you just want to like pull up a seat next to the fire and play checkers. That was totally my vibe this morning, and so I was loving it. I was making pancakes and eggs and hash browns while they were working on the fire, and it made the most comfy, cozy, peaceful morning. So today's video, I was going to go through and bring you through a couple of days this week where we were prepping ahead for the storm that was coming at the end of the week. So this will be over a couple of days, and one thing I usually always do is I prep a lot of food. I actually don't even end up showing you everything I prepped in this video because it would just be crazy long. It was so much stuff. But I am making a chocolate braid here, and this is something I just used our sourdough cinnamon roll recipe, and instead of doing the cinnamon mixture, I did chocolate, which is basically just cocoa, sugar, some butter, and then I did sprinkle some chocolate chips on top, and then I cut it and made it into a braid. And then I actually ended up, I didn't have a pan that was long enough for the braid, and I didn't think ahead. So I ended up making it into a wreath and just putting it on a cookie sheet. Tasted the same. There is a glaze that you can put over top, like a cinnamon roll, but I ended up just not doing that, and I did powdered sugar, and my family devoured this thing. They loved it. They did not miss the glaze on top at all. So I will be prepping a lot of desserts and snacks, and then I also do prep, which you won't see in the video. I did a whole chicken and then I shredded it, and I also did a couple pounds of ground beef. I like to cook them ahead of time, so then if we do lose power and we have to cook on the fire, it is easier just to kind of throw that stuff into a pot and make a soup or make a wrap, or something very easy, and I'm just warming stuff instead of actually cooking it from scratch during that time, which does take longer when you don't have power and you're cooking on the fire because you can't obviously control the heat as well. So it takes longer, and to prepare for that, I try to do a lot of that kind of stuff before the storm even hits, and then I'll put it in the fridge or the freezer, and we can readily get it if our power goes out. And then even if our power doesn't go out, that's what we tend to do anyway. We will use this food during that time just to kind of make it easier, because a lot of times we are doing more stuff. We will still end up doing school, but we will take breaks so we can kind of play out in the snow. We don't see snow as often as we used to in Chicago. So when it does snow here a couple times a year, it is super exciting for us, and we always take advantage of that. So we will still be doing school, but we'll also be playing in the snow with the kids and our dogs, and we have to keep up with the fire and the firewood, and kind of it seems like a lot to maintain during those couple of days. And just having some food available beforehand to take some of that time away is so much easier. So that's what I'll be doing. And then, like I said, mostly in this video, you're going to just be seeing me prep like some easy snacks. I have kids and they're always snacking, so having some things on hand and readily available will be a lot easier over the next few days when it is not as easy to navigate, or maybe even impossible when we're trying to heat our house and we don't have electricity. I was having a heck of a time wrapping this braid. I am not, I'm getting a lot better at baking, but that does not come naturally to me. Cooking comes naturally to me. And what I found over the years is you're usually not super great at both. At least from the people that I know, it's like one or the other. And I am definitely very, very good at cooking, but the baking part has been something that does not come naturally for me. I love cooking where you can kind of cook with your heart, and I absolutely do. I am not one to follow directions, and I think that is where baking gets me, because you have to follow directions. It's like a science, and I have just never been good at following directions. So I keep trying and trying, and I am successful, because this does turn out very well. My family loved it, but and I noticed, now that I'm trying a lot more to bake things a lot more, it comes easier. But I'm like, while I was wrapping that, I'm like, I have to be doing this wrong. So if there is an easier way, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like, did I cut it wrong, like the wrong direction or something? If you know, please let me know below, because like I said, I'm still learning when it comes to baking, and it does not come easily for me. And it did turn out wonderful, but I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm doing it the easiest way, like the correct way. And I was having a heck of a time braiding that. By this point, the fire had kind of died down, and Lincoln was trying to help me. He is 7, and we're trying to teach our boys how to do these kind of things and be more involved with this. So usually when we're doing a fire or we're cooking, or they're usually always around us, we try to involve them so they can easily help us if we need it, and they can learn how to properly do a fire and safely do it. And so we do very much involve them. I have said before that you don't always see my 2 older kids, and that's just kind of because they don't always want to be in front of the camera. Sometimes they choose to be, and sometimes they just don't want to be. So they're teenagers, and they absolutely can have that say. So I try to respect their boundaries with that. It doesn't mean that they're not around and they're not helping. They always are helping, and they're always included. They're just not always in the camera view. They like actually running the camera, like cameramen. So a lot of times they're directly behind the camera. Oh, hey, and did you see my lemon tree that I just showed a couple of seconds ago, maybe? I forgot I put that in, and while I'm doing this voiceover, it reminded me. But I was just talking about that the other day, how I have 1.5 million plants, and I am still learning how to take care of them. But I had that lemon tree. It is my very first lemon tree. And for the longest time, I thought I got a lime tree, because none of the lemons were like yellow. They were all green. And I'm like, maybe I got a lime tree, which is fine. But I didn't really know what to expect, because I'm clearly just winging it with my plants. And if you have watched my other videos, and you know my whole plant saga thing with my poor snake plant, I'm not great. I am trying, and there are some plants that are just like thriving, but then others are a little trickier, and so I'm kind of learning along the way. But anyway, my lemon plant, they finally are lemons. We officially have lemons. So I was so excited about that. And if you can see, I kind of moved some things around in my living room, and now my beautiful lemon tree is right there, centered. So I was pretty excited about that. But I am in the kitchen prepping some breakfast stuff right now, and I've made these a lot of times before. They usually are great. These are egg bites is what I call them. They have them at like Starbucks, and I know I've seen them other places. I'm trying to think, like Panera or something maybe. But they are really easy to make. They kind of cost a lot in the store. I saw them at Sam's Club like a week ago, and they were pretty expensive. Or I guess I don't buy them, so they seemed expensive to me. I always just make them, and they're just as good at home. So if you like those egg bites, I definitely suggest making these instead. And I will put all of the recipes from today's video in the description box below. Usually there is a limit on them, so I will try my best to include all of them. If for whatever reason you don't see one, please just message me and I'll send it to you. Sometimes YouTube puts a limit on things and I can't always include everything, but I will do my best to include all of today's recipes in the description box below. But anyway, these are very easy and they turned out wonderful. So I was prepping, I started with the little tray of mini, like a mini muffin tray, but then I decided that was kind of a little too tedious for me. And they were mini, obviously, but I wanted them a little bigger. So I went ahead and just moved it to a large muffin tray, and I was a lot happier with those. So I prepped, I want to say like 2 batches of egg bites and put them in the fridge. So they're very easy to take 1 or 2 out, pop them in the microwave, and they make a perfect quick breakfast. So like I said, if you like those from Starbucks or any of the other places, it's definitely worth it, in my opinion, if you have a Sunday, to prep a bunch of those for your breakfast for the week. Okay, and this is so random, but I am making chocolate cocoa mix. I came across a recipe a really long time ago and to like put this powder together, and I've never made it, and I don't like hot cocoa, so I never really experiment with that, I guess. My kids love hot cocoa. But yeah, I had this recipe a while ago and I just never did anything with it and I forgot about it. And then I came across it the other day and I have this powdered milk that I need to be using up. So I'm like, you know what, let's just make it. I had all the ingredients, like literally the exact amount of cocoa that I needed. So I put it together, put it in a mason jar, and the kids loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, this is like store-bought. This is like Starbucks quality cocoa mix. So totally random and not ever something that I prep ahead for a storm. But I guess when we're playing in the snow this week, it will come in handy because the kids will want to come in and have a nice hot cup of hot cocoa. So I guess it is planning ahead. But yeah, they were really excited about it, and I just made 1 cup of hot cocoa for them to taste it and tell me if it tastes normal. And they ended up just passing around this one little itty bitty cup. But yeah, totally, I was like, this is kind of random, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. Theo also did remind me about the marshmallows, which makes a lot of sense, I know. However, I have teenagers and they basically just eat our baked goods. We own snacks, and so I don't know why they go through all of my baking ingredients, but they do. So we had no marshmallows, unfortunately.
Good, but really, really hot.
And there you have it, folks. It is really good, but very hot. He cracks me up, his taste testing and his reviews of my stuff. Theo, they all really, really loved it. It was just when he was trying it very hot, and once it cooled down, they finished off the whole cup of it. So I know that they'll be very excited about it come the end of this week, and they are playing in the snow. I am finishing up the last of the egg bites. These ones were just eggs, and then you mix it with cottage cheese. I did cheddar cheese, and these are bacon bits that I baked ahead of time and then chopped up into little pieces. So I am finishing these off, and then like I said, I just put them in Tupperware and put them in the fridge, and so people can easily just grab 1 or 2 and have them for breakfast. It makes such a perfect, just very, very simple weekday breakfast. And I don't know why I don't make these as often. I think I just don't ever think about it. I need to work these into my normal weekly meal prep. I was taking a second trying to figure out what I was making here because I could not for the life of me remember what I was putting together here. But I am making English muffins, and this is my very first time, so please give me a lot of grace, especially if you continue watching when I'm rolling these things out, because I am learning from a girl on TikTok, and okay, so they turned out really good. They taste great. And I will put the recipe down below. But I was cutting them like this girl on TikTok because I'm like, oh, I've seen them done other ways, obviously. And now I just need to stick with that. But I'm like watching her, and it might not have been TikTok. I don't know where it was, but somewhere on the internet. But how she cut them, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And no, it doesn't. So I am making English muffins, and during the part where I am cutting and like rolling them into balls, don't do what I did. I'll put the recipe down below and just follow that, because those people wrote a recipe for a reason. Oh, it cracks me up. Anyway, so I am making those, and it was the first time, and they turned out really delicious. And I was kind of making them ahead of time. Sorry. So we had some to where I like making like a egg McMuffin type of thing with the eggs, cheese, and sausage. And if we don't eat them right away, I'll wrap them up and put them in the freezer, because you can just put them straight from the freezer into the microwave, and my husband likes to do that for work. So, and my kids, actually, my teens, that's one of their favorite breakfasts. So I usually buy the store-bought English muffins, and I have for so long wanted to try out making my own. So that's what I was doing here. And like I said, they turned out great, and I'll continue to make my own, but I will not continue to cut and roll them how I did. But yeah, so they also make a great make-ahead breakfast meal. It's not something, if they're starting to get older and people aren't eating them in the pantry, you could absolutely make little McMuffin sandwiches from them and put them in the freezer for quick grab-and-go breakfast. This is finally the day before the storm is supposed to hit, and clearly I am a lumberjack, so I am stacking up all of our wood. We have a couple different areas. Oh, and my boys were helping. They are so sweet. I love how when they're cute and little at this age and they just want to help their mama, it makes me so happy. I could literally just burst and cry. But anyway, so we have a couple different areas where we have wood piled up. And is this nook on our front porch not just the most perfect firewood nook? I have been telling Kyle this since we moved in, and I finally just had to do it myself because nothing else can go here. If you have any ideas, please let me know, because it's perfect for wood. It's made for wood. You can't tell me anything different. So we've had it just blank in this area, which is fine, obviously, but we've had this little tiny area, this whole entire area of our front porch has just basically had nothing. And our front porch is really weird shaped. So it's kind of hard to put anything on our front porch in the first place. But we started stacking wood up here, and then I covered it we used to have a greenhouse. However, we had a really bad storm that literally took the entire thing. It was staked and everything, so it ripped it out of the ground. And I saved the pieces, and I actually use them in various areas around our house. I'm showing you right now our solar chargers, and I don't know what, that one's not solar, the one that I just put down, but the other two, the green and the blue, they are solar powered. And I like to charge them with a charger before a storm, and then if they lose any charge, we can put them in the sun and charge basically any device that has a USB attachment. There's other attachments there, but we mostly just do our phones. We don't have internet during that time, and nothing really works, so it's mostly just for our phones. But anyway, yeah, we stacked wood. We have a huge stack of wood down by our garage. We have some wood stacked in our garage, and then I thought that area on the front porch was absolutely perfect for firewood. And so regardless of what Kyle said, that's where we put another stack, and then I covered it with a part of, I think it was like a roofing part actually, of our old greenhouse, and it worked perfectly when the snow started falling to not accumulate snow on top. And then of course we also have some wood in the house as well. I am moving on to prepping these salads, and if you are a salad person and you miss cheeseburgers, this is definitely the recipe for you. I can't remember, I'm sure I've made this on my channel before, but this one is a winner. This is a Big Mac salad, and I swear it tastes just like a Big Mac. So if you like Big Macs, try this salad, I swear. I was prepping, I think I prepped 5 of these little dishes and put them in the fridge. You won't put the dressing on until you go to eat it, but it will not get soggy if you kind of layer it like this. And again, I'll put the recipe in the description box below, but these ones are always a crowd pleaser. My kids love them, and I mean, even my 5 and 7-year-old, they love these salads because they taste just like a cheeseburger. So really, really good. And that's what I was making ahead for here. I made some ground beef. I cooked ground beef ahead of time, and then I was letting it cool down on the stove while I assembled the rest of the salad. And then once it's cooled down, I'll put it on top of the salad and put them in the fridge. And like I said, just put the dressing on top when you go to eat the salad, and it should stay crunchy and good for, I mean, I think usually these are gone pretty quickly after the first couple of days, so they don't really last very long in my house. But if you know, let us know below, because they don't really last in my fridge very long because we always eat them. Oh, and if you can see the mound of clean dishes in back of me, so, and and if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that our dishwasher is terrible. But we finally, I'm so excited, and this is how you know that I am a true adult, because I'm excited about a dishwasher. We went and looked at dishwashers, and I think we picked out the one we're going to be getting. I think at this point, we were kind of thinking about getting it this weekend. However, we're going to be stuck in our house for some days, so we'll be getting it once we get around to it, I guess, after the storm. But I think we're going to get a Samsung one. We have slowly been getting like Samsung appliances, and we have a Samsung vacuum, and I don't even think they make them anymore, but it is the best cordless vacuum that I have ever owned. And so I'm kind of bummed if they don't make them anymore. But anyway, we were looking at different dishwashers, and there was a couple that we like. I can't remember the other brand. I want to say it's a Bosch. And of course I have to let you know, because have you seen the commercial where they're like a Bosch, And so it cracks me up, because my 7-year-old Lincoln, he has seen that commercial and he thinks it's like the funniest thing. And so when we were looking at dishwashers, they had Bosch dishwashers, and he kept saying like a Bosch. It just cracked me up. So I think we liked the Bosch ones. I can't remember. The only one that sticks out is the Samsung, and I'm not very good with like brands and all that, so I know I can ask Kyle and he'll know, but yeah, I don't know if we ended up liking a Bosch, I don't know if I can actually deal with Lincoln for every day, maybe for the rest of my life being like a Bosch. It just cracks me up. But yeah, just know that if you are a regular friend, we officially looked at dishwashers, and I'm so excited to get a new one. Also, I'm just now realizing, so you're supposed to put tomatoes on the salads. I didn't have any, so I didn't put any. Usually, they're very, very good with it. So if you like tomatoes, definitely put it on, but I didn't have any. And then also, don't try to skip the red onion. At first, my family, they don't usually love onions unless they're cooked, and they tried taking them off, and they did say that it made quite the difference to have the red onion slices. Just slice them very thin and put them in, and if you don't like it, then obviously take them out. But yeah, they do make the difference, and I swear it is necessary to have that if you want it tasting like a Big Mac. Anyway, I am moving on to incorrectly slicing the English muffins. So they turned out good, and I put cornmeal or whatever it's called on the pan, and I don't know, they obviously they weren't all the same size, and I don't know why I thought when she was cutting it that it made sense, but because I mean, you can look at it, it does not make any sense. And we had some giant ones and some little ones. They tasted fine, and I guess that's what it's about. They all tasted really good, but boy, was it weird. It's so funny. I don't know, I saw that video and I'm like, it just how it clicked in my head, and I'm like, yes, that's how I'm gonna do it. And then as I'm doing it, I did realize, I mean, I even realized while I was cutting them that that's not how it goes. So I knew, but I was trying to just finish strong, and so that's the story to that. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. My next video, I will be giving you updates on the storm situation and what's going on with us during the second storm. Again, the video, I taped it while we were going through the first storm system, and it was very insignificant. There was hardly anything to it. The one that as I'm doing my voiceover, it is starting, and it is already really piling up. We had everybody, we went out last night to make sure we had gas in our cars and to make sure that we got all our loose ends tied up, because everybody runs out of gas. I mean, we can't even get out, and it just turns into a whole mess. The stores were already very low on stock, and the gas station was completely filled. But yeah, it is going to be a significant system. So if you do not have me on Instagram, you can go ahead and add me, and I will be posting regular updates there. But I also will have, for my next video, I'll show you kind of what we went through and how we dealt with it. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.